Kang Dynasty, also known as Kang War, is when Kang arrived and started multiple battles across the world to prove a point. The planet Earth needed to submit to him and make him their ruler. Last time, Carol had taken over an underground nation while the Avengers were preparing their assault on his main base of operations. Welcome to where reality meets fiction, where your stories are read back to you in a dramatic fashion, where I get to pretend to be a voice actor. This is Comicstorian, and we take the time to make you a comic book expert by filling you in on the big moments happening within the world of comics. We do cut out B-plots and limit our panel usage to prevent copyright problems and allow you to have something to read to yourself if you so choose to. I do recommend going to your local comic book store and starting your own collection, or you can use one of our sponsors, Shortboxed. Click the link down below to learn how you can win a graded comic book yourself and discover the world of collectible comics. Today we're going to be covering Kang Dynasty, issue 8 onward. Quasar taps some buttons on his console, sending word of the incoming object to the Avengers back to Earth. But the message doesn't come through, and the screen flashes that a priority Avengers mission is currently underway. Quasar and the Living Lightning have no choice. They fly outside of their station trying to follow behind the floating pyramid, but to their astonishment, it begins to pick up speed. Meanwhile, over in Earth's orbit, Captain America's team has now begun their assault on Kang's ship, firing energy blasts out of their hands while Cap provides strafing runs in the spacecraft. But the blast seems to have little effect. Inside of the spaceship, Wanda turns back to Cap, letting him know that she can't drop the shields with her chaos magic. Since she can't seem to grasp its frequency, Cap banks the ship again. "Keep at it, Wanda. We can't let up for a second. If we fail to break through," he tells her. "Don't even say that, Cap! We'll do it, we have to," she shouts back at him. Meanwhile, Carol and her team are sneaking through the vents of the Master's base, with Quicksilver questioning how they haven't been found yet. And what they are unaware of is the Scarlet Centurion has been using Kang's technology to mask their biosignatures. The war continues on the ground, with Thor and Firebird continuing to fight alongside the armies of Earth in their battle against Kang's forces. At the Understanding's compound, the religious leaders are preparing to take off in their spacecraft, with Vision and Triathlon trying to stop them. If it draws too much power, if it works at all, it could hurt all of your followers, Vision tried to explain to Mr. Tremont, but the man holds out his hands, explaining to them that if the Tri-Evil is not stopped, it will destroy all life on Earth. "We have hidden nothing, Triathlon. We even knew the Avengers had sent spies to infiltrate our ranks. It did nothing to prevent it, preferring that you discover that there is nothing to fear," he says, motioning to Just and Firestar and the group of acolytes. He motions to the ship, asking the heroes to join them in their mission. The ship begins to take off as the acolytes on the ground pray, and as it rises higher and higher, they begin to scream in pain, clutching their heads as they fall to the ground. Triathlon tries to tell Tremont to head back down to help the people. "Calm yourself, Triathlon. Our medical staff is doing what it can. The acolytes have done what is necessary," he says before turning back to the pilot. "Stay on course, Vasquez. Many have given much of themselves to see us this far. To honor them, we must not stop now." But back in space, while this religious group is trying to control the Earth, the Avengers are trying to stop Kang, with the Centurion allowing the ship's automated defenses to protect the ship while he continues to monitor Carol and her team in their assault against the Master. "How goes it, Marcus?" Kang asks as he enters the room, with Marcus quickly shutting off the device that is monitoring Carol Danvers. "The battle goes well, Father. The attackers are hopeless. Nothing the automated defense modules can't handle." But Kang looks at the screens and he comments that his son should have been paying closer attention. Because versatile as they are, automatic defense modules cannot anticipate everything, and it looks as if the Avengers have just broken through our shields. Not the desired result, wouldn't you say? Kang comments and Marcus tries to apologize, but Kang waves his hand. "Do not concern yourself overmuch, after all. It is a minor lapse and easily fixed," he says as he presses a button, and an energy beam shoots out of their base, grabbing a hold of the Avengers spacecraft and their flyers. Far down below at the world's leaders, the general is apologizing to Janet for what he must do, and he orders the launch of the Sentinels into space. Lifting off, 75 of the large robots begin to hurtle themselves towards Kang's station. Meanwhile, Carol and her team have finally reached the Master's throne room, and he laughs as the heroes break off, fighting against his Plodex wolves as Carol leaps to meet him in one-on-one combat. His sword swings back and forth, slashing into Carol's skin as she attempts to block it. But back over in space, Kang appears before the captured Avengers, his smiling face mocking them. "Good afternoon, Avengers. My sensors inform me that there is a flight of Sentinels on the way. I wouldn't have thought you so foolish." He reminds them that he is a time traveler and that he has lived throughout many ages. "And I have quite an influence over dawning industries, specifically the robotics industry." Down below them, Carol takes another blow from the Master's sword. "You are bound by the Avengers' policy against lethal force, and I am not. I feel I should offer you a chance to surrender honorably," he says with another laugh, but Carol suddenly stands, blasting a portion of the floor away. "Yeah, that's where you're wrong. You're expecting us to act like nice superheroes, but the world's at war, and that means the rules have changed." She takes a piece of shrapnel and stabs it through the Master's stomach. Everyone turns in shock at what she's done as the Master tumbles to the floor. But back out in space, Kang raises his hand and the Sentinels stop their oncoming assault, awaiting for his word of command. "I really would not have thought this of you, Avengers," Kang says again. The image leans over the Avengers ship, still trapped in a beam of energy. "I must remind you, I did say that if I or my forces were engaged other than on the field of battle, there would be retribution! And I am a man of my word. You have attacked my command center, thus I will obliterate yours." With that, the image of Kang turns and begins to stride towards the Earth, the army of Sentinels following him. As an afterthought, he turns back, firing a beam of energy at the Avengers, destroying their ship. And as he turns to continue his assault on Earth, the bodies of the Avengers float helplessly throughout space. Back over at the Avengers mansion, Janet Van Dyne looks at her control console and realizes that few of the Avengers are left and something large is incoming. She puts out a call to Thor and Firebird, and the two heroes step through a portal prepared to fight, hoping that they will be enough. They won't be. The hollow construct of Kang strides towards the Earth, appearing over DC with his army of controlled Sentinels behind him. The military launches their counterattack, but the Sentinels blast them out of the sky, and then they turn their weapons on the Master's shield that has been placed over the city, with the defense laser striking some of them. But Kang merely points. The first blast from the ship cuts through the shield. The second turns the city into a crater. Thor and Firebird and Wasp have arrived, launching their attack against the Sentinels. And the president is taken from the White House as the people try to flee the city, the battle raging far over their heads. But they can't get past the Master's walls, trapped as destruction is raining down upon them. Wonder Man then arrives, cutting a path through the Sentinels. Kang raises his hands over his head, shooting a powerful beam into the city that crumbles the buildings around it. Thor attempts to stop him, but merely passes through the hard light construct. Wasp whispers in his ear, asking him to leave the battle, and he nods, flying down to the president and opening up a portal with Mjolnir, allowing the president to escape to safety. He looks at his friends, ordering Wasp and Firebird to also escape. And now alone, Thor and Wonder Man continue their assault, but something new drops towards the planet. A ball of green energy that cracks into the city. And in a blink of an eye, every person within its radius is killed. Skin melted from their bones. Thor and Wonder Man struggle to their feet, shocked by the death around them. And Thor stumbles out onto the city streets, falling to his knees as the dark rain has now begun to fall on them, screaming in rage that is echoing throughout this dead city. It's the next day that Kang smiles as he stands on his floating platform over the city that used to be DC. The leaders of the free world stand before him, prepared to sign their surrender, but he waves them away, motioning for Wasp, the leader of the Avengers, to be the first to give in to his demands. But out in space, the pyramid is still moving forward. You see, it was long in the past that the gods sealed away the darkness of their universe, but something managed to slip away. A pyramid, which managed to break forth into our universe, to travel the stars. Captain America and the other Avengers are regaining consciousness inside of Quasar's energy bubble, and the hero explains that he and Living Lightning managed to save them before their air gave out, though Kang's drones managed to grab Wanda before they could arrive. Cap nods as he gets to his feet. "Kang, he was going to attack Earth with a flight of Sentinels. We've got to!" But Quasar stops him. "There's another situation, Cap. It might take precedence." When the darkness arrived in our universe, the universe reacted, creating 3 fragments of light to fight against the sliver of darkness. These fragments were found in time by living creatures, who took it upon themselves. Cap wasn't so sure that they shouldn't return to Earth, but Quasar convinces him that this threat, the pyramid, is bigger. The discussion is cut short as they look up at an approaching ship. The ship of the Understanding. Greetings, Avengers! This is Jonathan Tremont of the Triune Understanding. We have several of your comrades aboard and will be pleased if you would join us, Tremont says to them over the comms. The Avengers board the ship, with Cap greeting the others that were saved from Earth. He turns to Vision, asking the android to quickly explain the situation. It is Tremont who speaks as he points to the pyramid as it approaches. In brief, Captain, I believe I can accomplish that in a word, as we are coming up on our destination now. The threat we speak of is there. And Cap's eyes widen. Perhaps I do need to know more about this. The other Avengers fill Cap in on everything that happened with the Triune of Understanding, how they sent spies inside of the religion and everything that happened on the spaceship. Cap isn't happy about the secrets, apologizing to Tremont, though he expresses his distrust of the man's religion and what he has done to his followers. But in the meantime, we're here. The hand's been dealt, so let's play it out, he says. Tremont nods. Turning back to his followers that control the ship, he explains to the heroes that the pyramid pulses with pure evil, and that it may be the greatest danger that the Earth has ever faced. It is the triple evil, Avengers. Its coming has been foretold and it must be stopped. That is the reason the Triune Understanding was created, he explains, and the team of heroes float over the pyramid using Quasar's powers. Then they approach it, and Living Lightning holds out his hands. That's funny. I thought this was machinery, but it looks more organic, like a hide or a scab. In a flash of light, the team disappears. In the past, a hero known as the 3D Man was created when he came in contact with an alien spacecraft, one that was powered by one of the fragments of life. His soul was trapped inside his brother, who was able to call him forth to fight against the forces of evil. But time went on and the brother felt like something was pulling him. He left his wife, traveling into the mountains, and there he found another of the fragments of light that had been created. And he was beaten by his guide, who claimed the fragment for himself. And now we go back to the current day. We are inside of the pyramid, and the heroes are trapped by strange aliens. Their minds are asleep, and they are living perfect lives, the ones that they had wished for in the pyramid. Cap sees himself returning from war, living out his life as he had hoped. But he fights it, his sense of duty pushing through. Kang! He's threatening the Earth! I don't have time! Struggling through gritted teeth, he breaks free of the control, dropping to the floor, seeing his friends being freed by him breaking the machine. We don't have time for this! He shouts, but one of the aliens that had them steps forward. Please, Blue Man, there's no need for harshness. We are only to aid you seeking. Cap glares at them. All we need is a way out of here, so we can go back to Earth where we're needed. He snaps, and the alien puts out its hands, trying to calm Captain America. Come on, Avengers, we'll find the exit ourselves, Cap says as he turns away. Tremont begins to argue, telling Cap that they need to stay. But behind Cap, the aliens begin to morph and shift, becoming the creatures of darkness with large claws. Blue Man, I am so sorry, but we cannot allow you to depart. They snarl, and the entire space around them shifts, Vision looking around as reality is setting in. The entire chamber that we are in, the aliens themselves are more illusions, he shouts at the team, and the heroes look up in shock as the aliens are swarming around them. I think we found Tremont's triple evil. But before the aliens could attack them, the Avengers feel a strange presence in their minds. They see images of the pyramid traveling through the universe, radiating pure evil and corrupting all that it comes across. The aliens were corrupted, becoming soldiers and minions of the great evil. The Avengers saw all of this in a blink of an eye, and so they fought. Fight bravely, Avengers! Remember that we fight not merely to save a city, but all of human civilization, Tremont shouts as he hits the swarms with a blast from his holy power. The rest of the Avengers leap into battle, trying to hold the swarms of corrupted aliens back, but as they continue to fight, they realize that their attacks seem to be growing weaker, and that the aliens are absorbing their energy. Keep moving, everyone! Swap opponents! Strike and move on! Don't fight the same creature twice! Don't give them a chance to adapt to your skills! Cap shouts at them as they leap over the heads of more aliens. Tremont continuing his attack, but the walls suddenly come alive, reaching for him, pinning him in place. But he's not done yet, calling forth his true powers, the souls of his brothers that were trapped in him long ago. "Brothers, I need thy strength, thy power. I call you, brothers, come to me!" he shouts as his body glows and his brothers who died long ago arrive. He uses the fragment of light that he had stolen from the American in the mountains, the one who controlled the spirit of 3D Man, who had used the fragment to call forth the spirit of his brothers, to use them to gain power, to prepare for the coming evil. And now the spirits of his brothers are fighting against the alien threat. "Fear not, Avenger! Lord Templar will not permit you to come to harm," one of them shouts as he hits the swarm with an energy blast, and the fighting continues with Triathlon looking up, strange memories filling his mind as he looks at Tremont. You hurt me in the mountains from behind," he whispers, and Tremont looks at him in shock. "You remember? You remember what the American experienced?" he gasps. You see, in the past, Tremont had gathered followers, seeing images of the other fragments, of the champions that had risen, powered by another fragment, attacking the Great Pyramid, only to fail and become corrupted by it. But Tremont had continued to gather followers to himself. He also had the body of the American that he killed and leached the energy of the fragment out of the body, putting it into a suit that he gave to one of his new acolytes, Delroy, the man who became a triathlon. But it seems as if the two brothers' consciousness was also leached into the suit, and now Delroy remembers what Tremont had done. "All you wanted was power!" Triathlon shouts as he knocks aside another alien. Tremont begins to float into the air, proclaiming that everything he has done was for this moment. He killed the American. He made the suit out of the American's power and body. He stole the power and took all of the spirits, all to prevent this alien invasion. "I will be the savior of the entire world!" he bellows. "And what greater reward for my service than dominion over that which I have saved? And all who live on it!" Triathlon turns away, flipping through the fight until he reaches the other Avengers. "We got more trouble. Tremont, he's got to be stopped too. If he wins, the world's just as hosed as if Kang wins or the Pyramid. All three of them are the big bads." Cap grits his teeth and slugs another alien. "Can't say I'm surprised. We'll deal with it the best we can." The rest of the heroes turn, realizing that Tremont has continued to grow, his power rippling through the aliens, and the heroes begin to hit him with everything that they've got. But he continues the attack, siphoning the energy from his brother's spirits, killing them. "Now I sense the true prize here. It is the pyramid itself, suffused with the power of all of those who lost their lives fighting it. Those souls were taken by evil. I can wrest it from the darkness. I can become a god myself, and all I need is the last power to oppose the darkness." He fires a blast at Triathlon, who manages to flip out of the way, and he continues to avoid Tremont's blast until he's finally struck. But the blast merely frees the souls of 3D Man and his brother, trapped in the suit after the power was leached out of them. He continues to flip away, but as he rounds a corner, he is shocked to discover the alien champion, bonded with another fragment that had attempted to attack the pyramid. He is drawn to the fragment, reaching out his hand for it. No, you can't!" Tremont shouts as he sees what Delroy is doing, but Delroy touches the fragment and is bathed in a green light and rises up as the light dims. "The first shard. I feel its power. Feel it resonating with the power that we already carry. This is what we were meant to do, to bring the shards here, to unite them. This has always been my purpose, our purpose," he says with the voice of all three of them. Tremont looks at him with fear as Delroy turns, reaching out his hands and drawing the energy of the shards from the religious leader. And now, with the power of everything, Delroy shoots a blast that hits the pyramid itself. The others can do little more than look and wonder. In the darkness of space, Triathlon and the darkness of the pyramid are now doing battle, but it doesn't last long. The power of the three fragments burn away the corruption of the darkness, and the pyramid becomes inert. "It is done," Triathlon says as he returns to his friends. Cap nods, asking the hero if they can use the pyramid to return to Earth and fight Kang. But Vision interrupts them, explaining that he can once again receive transmissions from Earth. "When we were caught up in that illusion chamber, it must have held us far longer than we assumed. We have been here for weeks, Captain. And in that time, Earth has surrendered to Kang," he tells the shocked faces of those around him. And that is where we're going to conclude today's episode of Kang Dynasty. It's kind of in the middle of issue 11, but I mean, that's like the perfect cliffhanger, so we can come back and bring you guys the inevitable conclusion to Kang Dynasty. I hope you guys have been enjoying this. Honestly, I don't know what the heck that whole Del Rey Triathlon and Tremont thing was. It felt like we're on a D&D adventure, and in the middle of the battle against Kang, we just went on a side quest for some religious leader versus the pyramids from Destiny. That's how it felt to me, but what did you guys think? Classic storyline crossovers are really weird because they try to throw in as much as they can to make you kind of be attached to everything, from the Captain Marvel parts, to the Thor parts, to the Vision parts, to these whole new characters who I don't even know if they were big at the time or what the deal was. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time right here at Kang Dynasty.